Welcome. Oh, why did I start with an Welcome to the CineBeards review of Deadpool 2. It is only Deon and I in the studio this evening. We're recording it in the evening. Hey.
Marcus is here, but he's hiding.
He's very good at it.
Very good. I haven't seen him at not even his car, nothing.
He's actually been hiding for like the past month and a bit. That's why you guys haven't seen him.
Yeah, something's starting to smell in here, so I'm thinking maybe he hit a little too well.
All right. Anyway, let's get stuck into it, Dion.
All right. So Deadpool 2, obviously initially spoiler-free, I suppose?
Yeah. We'll stick with the usual spoiler-free thing, but to be honest, the spoiler-free it's better than Deadpool 1.
Yeah.
But it is still Deadpool. So if you enjoy Deadpool, you're going to enjoy the hell out of this one.
Yeah.
It's probably more.
It's, I mean, my favorite, obviously, like anyone might, the two best things about Deadpool are the comedy and the action sequences, and both were just pushed. Oh yeah, no, the action sequences have definitely taken a step up after getting the John Wick director in. Yeah, no, the action is intense, it delivers all the time.
The story's got a surprising amount of heart to it.
Yeah, like, it definitely tried harder than I expected it to.
Yeah, I expected them to almost phone it in a little and rest on their laurels, like, oh, it's just Deadpool. Yeah, we can just be silly the whole time.
Yeah, there was a sort of sweetness to it, and, like a nice theme running through it. And I mean, it's, it ain't going to be winning Oscars, but it definitely went above and beyond for what you're just expecting to be crass violence and dick jokes.
Yeah, and don't get us wrong, there are dick jokes aplenty.
Oh, so many. So many.
Arguably, for me, the weakest part of the movie is the dick jokes aplenty.
Yeah, I think it's not really a spoiler to say that I feel like with the jokes, there's a lot of incredibly good ones. Yeah, a lot of great sequences.
Oh man, my face was sore by the end of the movie from laughing.
But I do think they also went for a quantity approach.
Yeah.
The thing is, there were definitely jokes that fell flat for me. Especially early on. I think
it's to be honest, the movie started off a little bit slow for me. Like, I thought, okay, this isn't going to be as good as the first one. And then it kicked into high gear.
The first 10 or 15 minutes I sat there, I was like, this is cool, but definitely not, like, as solid as the first one. And then it picks up. And I think there were a couple of jokes that didn't land as well as they could have.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was a little concerned, but once it kicks into gear, and that's the thing is, for every 5 jokes, one will fall flat, but there's another one, a good one, so quickly that it doesn't bother you.
Of the 5 jokes, 1 will fall flat, 2 will be possible, and 2 will be just side-splittingly hilarious. And it's a good average, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's especially with the quantity of jokes in this damn thing. It's visual gags,
as much to the point where there was like a bit where there was maybe like a 5-minute stretch without a joke, and it felt really weird because that was such a long time between jokes given the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw a film that was just this packed with jokes constantly. And some really big gags, some really nuanced gags.
Oh man, there was some great big gags and switcheroos and setups and payoffs, and it was
so I'd say first 10-15 minutes are fine, and the rest is just
then it hits the ground running.
Solid gold. I really liked Cable.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was again Josh Brolin bringing like a surprising amount of nuance to a villain. The nuance is used very relatively. Where you're sort of, from the marketing, you're expecting just a Determinator. You're expecting just a relentless killing machine, and there's
I guess if you know nothing of the character going in, he seems like the villain from
There's definitely more to him. He's not afraid to sort of play things a little more understated, to have a little more motivation to the character. I thought...
Yeah, but that's what happens when you get a person like Josh Brolin in, whose grounding is in big dramatic performances.
I think that was a smart move for Infinity War and here.
Yeah,
I mean, this is definitely not a Thanos level, like where Thanos for me is just an all-time classic.
Yeah.
But Cable's really cool, and also I'm No, that's going to be a spoiler. So yeah, I think it was a good move casting him in Infinity War. It was a good move here. I don't think he's got as much playroom here as it in Infinity War, but I think it's rock solid. Cable's great. And yeah, I think every aspect of it, there's a certain level of, and again, I'm using nuance in a very, I'm specifically referring within the playing field of Deadpool. Again, not talking about like high drama, but for a villain and for someone who's just, a walking dick joke, Deadpool as well. He's got like a degree of dimension to him.
Yeah, he certainly does. I mean, this feels like this movie feels like it's an act 2 for the character.
Yeah,
it's,
for sure.
It's more character development and character focused than the first one was.
And doing that while just relentlessly laying on the jokes.
Well, yeah, I mean,
which is just fantastic.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic.
So yeah, if you like Deadpool 1, you're gonna really love Deadpool 2. You're really going to have a good time. If you hated Deadpool 1, I've actually seen a surprising number of people saying just the sheer number of jokes, just the humor, where they just weren't really into Deadpool 1, just it beat them into submission, like they enjoy Deadpool 2.
That's good. I mean, my sister personally, she still prefers the first Deadpool movie.
Which is fine. The first Deadpool is a lot more... The first Deadpool is Winter Soldier, and this one's Civil War. In that, the first one was a lot more, I think, focused.
Yeah,
it's tighter.
It's tighter. It has a very defined narrative from beginning to end.
And this one is fucking madness.
Yeah,
it's got a good character, good plot, good everything, but still
it feels a little bit less focused.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more. Even though they didn't up the budget too much, it was, hey, let's see what great set piece we can do. What massive scale jokes can we do?
Well, like I was saying to you earlier as well, I mean, I don't think the CG is going to age too well, but I also don't think it's incredibly important. And
it ain't going to look great in 5 to 10 years, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'll have a bit more to say about it, the CGI and the spoilers, but yeah. So, if you like the first one,
that matters at all.
You'll like this one. So that's the end of the non-spoilery stuff.
Spoilers incoming.
Let's move on to the spoilery stuff.
Okay.
So sticking with the CGI thing while my mind's on it, otherwise I'm going to get distracted. Juggernaut's CG was very shaky.
Yeah, for sure. I think I know with the first one where they had the really limited budget and they had the director, what is his name?
Tim Miller.
Tim Miller, yeah. There is TJ Miller and Tim Miller. I always get confused.
Tim Miller's the director. TJ Miller is the one that phoned in a bomb threat and touches girls when they don't want him to.
Yeah. I figured that out from context when you said Tim Miller. But thank you for the clarification. So TJ Miller... Damn it. So yeah, anyway. So Tim Miller, he was a special effects supervisor. That's the background that he came from. Special effects. So for the first one, they were very clever with... where they put the money that they had for special effects. So, they went all out with Colossus because he was the only really big CG element.
Yeah.
And they only animated him once the film had been cut. So there wasn't a single wasted frame. It was just, everything was just... And I think this one, they give Colossus a lot more screen time. There's a lot more spreading out of the budget.
Yeah, definitely.
And he gets just a ton more dialogue. So it definitely shows up
which is fine, because he's a great character for Deadpool to play off in this.
Yeah, it is a pity he couldn't look better. I kind of think, I totally respect the fact that they kept the budget small. And that they said, for this kind of movie, they think it has to be a small budget and then they have to swing for the fences. Rather than just sitting on top of a pile of money and letting that solve their problems. They probably
spent more money on marketing than they did on the actual film itself.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way, and it's paid off. But I kind of feel like they could probably have got, after the first one's success, just got them to open the kiddie a little wider and forked out for a little more Colossus money. That would have been great.
They blew it on the X-Men cameo in the background.
That was great. There's really just a lot of really subtle, and I really think I missed a lot of jokes. Just because I was
you didn't
laughing
even
so
see
hard.
Stan Lee.
Yeah,
when
I
we
didn't,
were
even,
talking
I
about
didn't
it.
even spot Stan Lee. I was looking elsewhere on the screen because there's a lot of visual stuff going on. There's a lot of gags.
Yeah, no,
I really liked the bait and switch with the X-Force. I
oh
thought
my
that was
god, that was
outstanding.
I was so sad when Peter died, though.
Yes. Well,
Like, I didn't care about the other X-Force characters.
He does get brought back at the end.
Yeah, he does, but I mean, like,
But yeah. But I would have. But that's the thing I was worried about. Is I was thinking, how long can they sustain this gag of this guy? Because it's hilarious him just rocking up to the interview.
yeah.
It's hilarious him jumping out of the.
You just remembered the Vanishing Man, didn't you?
No. I just had the image of Peter just like flying, looking amazing. It's a great gag, but then how do you sustain it and not have it trip up your action scenes?
Yeah,
Having
with
that
them
guy.
boys looking out for him.
That was something I was thinking about. Like, how did they solve this problem? And I think just the bait and switch.
Yeah.
Yes, Terry Crews is here, and it's just everything's going to be so.
All these characters, Shatterstar.
they give them the full intros, and then it's just they all die, and it's been years since I've laughed that hard at anything.
Man, Peter's line when they're in the helicopter and they're about to jump, he's busy putting on the sunscreen, and he's like, I don't know who this cable guy is, but I guarantee you he hasn't killed as many people as Melanoma.
Outstanding, and I love his Twitter account, and I'm glad they brought him back to life so he can probably continue his Twitter account.
Yes. Very much so.
That's fantastic. I thought Domino was amazing.
Oh yeah, Domino is really cool and not overused either, which was awesome.
A lot of people had reservations about the character's look. I didn't know what to think either way. I had no sort of expectations. And it was just fantastic. And that's one of the meta gags that really works well, where Deadpool is deriding her and saying, like, luck isn't a superpower.
It's not cinematic.
It's not cinematic while these incredibly cinematic things are happening. And it was just this really great source of inventiveness the whole time. Great little gags, bits of business. Really, really clever.
And they really used lamp shading to their benefit. Mm-hmm. Where they could be lazy with their writing and then point it out as lazy writing.
And they can get away with it. And what I like is also a thing that I was worried about is because a lot of people, this is kind of their introduction to the concept of fourth wall breaking and meta narrative and stuff like that. So they're really focused on it. I read a lot of the comment sections and a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, great, gonna break the fourth wall. It's gonna be, and I'm glad that they didn't give into the pressure to just overdo that. There was so little. There was just somewhere a character would say something ambiguous, some double entendre, and he would just sort of glance at the camera. Like Jim from The Office or something. And not overplaying it, not overstating it.
Yeah.
The bits where it was
meted out over the movie quite nicely.
Yeah, I think because that's one of Deadpool's hallmarks, but it can very quickly become a very tiring gimmick.
Yeah, very, very much so. And I mean, the kid from Hunt for the Wilder People, he nailed it as well.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Such a funny kid. Like, if you've seen Hunt for the Wilder People, you'll know he's got serious comedy chops, and this just suited him perfectly. And
he did the dramatic scenes really well as well.
Yeah.
That sort of the tortured child.
Yeah, I know. Hunt for the Wilder People was probably the best, sizzle reel that he could have done for this role.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought Cable looked great. I thought the action was great.
Juggernaut was super cool to see, although we never got to see him do the Juggernaut thing of being unstoppable.
Yeah. I think it's a character that's popular enough in the popular consciousness that you can just take it for granted that most people know who he is, and then sort of send that up. But I was
really hoping his helmet would come off and just reveal that he's Vinnie Jones under there.
Probably a bonus feature. I think that was a cool reveal. A nice little thing for the fan base. I think it's something that a lot of the characters that they're using are the kinds that the mainline X-Men films won't use.
Well, the mainlines did already use Juggernaut.
No,
but you mean the current ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the sort of first class onwards one, they tend a lot of the time they it feels like they're playing it really safe. You know, they sort of whereas this, especially with the
they've
X-Force,
really been pretty good with with since First Class, with using more almost B-list X-Men, because like they started off with not Scott Summers but his brother.
It's still sort of, it essentially comes down to the same thing visually. Like I liked the wacky D-listers that were in here.
Yeah,
for the X-Force auditioning for it.
Well, not like they could.
I'm just kind of burned out on what's it now? 20 years of Wolverine and
a very sneaky way of having him cameo in this. By the way, the post credits thing.
Well, and the little Logan statue.
Oh yeah, the little Logan. I want that little Logan statue that they had in the beginning.
And yeah, that old footage was funny because I kept hearing about this post-credit scene that was so good and so amazing. I thought, what could this possibly be? And it was outstanding. And I think, if you haven't seen it yet, and for some reason while listening to the spoiler review, stick right to the end of the credits because Tyler Bates gets one of the best gags.
Oh, yes. Oh man, that is great.
So good.
Like that, actually, even here in the spoiler thing, we're not going to spoil that for you.
Yeah, if you don't know what it is, go into that blind.
Yeah. Also, just know that Tyler Bates is the composer. Yeah, so don't expect a visual gag. Hint. I just winked at you guys, but you didn't see it. That's how good I wish I didn't.
So yeah, I thought, like we said in the spoiler-free part, that the opening felt a little stunted. Like a little stilted.
Yeah, I was actually getting a little bit worried in the beginning, but then after they got into the prison, then it hit the ground running when Cable like actually became involved with them.
It feels like it was probably. It feels like up until that point was probably a lot longer initially, and it feels like it got really hacked. Or something,
it feels very disjointed until that point.
Yeah, a lot of connect and some jokes not really landing for me.
Yeah, like after Deadpool's big explosion thing in the or in their apartment, like I thought that was the reason behind Cable's family getting burnt to death.
Oh,
initially,
okay,
just because of how it was shot and framed, and like.
I can see that.
In the opening thing, you did see a bear flying in the explosion.
I think also starting with him exploding, the lead up, because normally what would happen is you would have that explosion, and he said, we have to go back 6 weeks or something like that.
And usually that would be near the end of the film.
And then it would come back near the end, but then it came back so soon.
That I feel like they could have just led up to that.
Yeah, they could have just... skip that little opening shot and then
the thing
just started.
Leading up to that, the fight choreography in the apartment.
Yeah.
Like, comparing that to the fights he has in the few minutes before it, like, where there's all this, like, flair and dramaticism to it, and then it's the fight in their apartment, and then there's just...
Yeah.
There's no showing off. It's all just killing them as quickly and efficiently as he possibly can.
Yeah.
And you could just really feel... oh, man, what's the director's name? The John Wick dude.
One of the guys who killed John Wick's
one of the guys who killed John Wick's dog. You could really feel him, the effect of him as a director in that scene.
It was really kinetic. The traffic, the whole scene, with Domino hijacking thing and him coming up on the Vespa. That whole thing just has this incredible momentum to it. I'm pretty burnt out for the most part, on like car chases or like city streets,
unless they're done really really well.
Mostly burnt out. I mean, a really inventive one will still get me, but for the most part they just feel really like played out, and you can see the seams.
I wonder what the Ant-Man one's going to be like, because we know from the trailer that there's a car chase.
Yeah, it feels like that's probably going to be like,
despite the switching in size, more standard.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be more incidental than anything else, whereas this was a big-ass set piece.
Yeah, it was.
So, and it just
was
felt
almost like a heist.
Yeah, it felt constantly, like, energetic, moving the whole time. And I think a lot of that was Domino.
Yeah, very much so, because she was constantly on the move.
Yeah, she
and
was
shit
constantly on the move, and shit was,
around.
everything happens around her. She just constantly gets lucky, and boy, did they have fun with that. And I saw that it was Ryan Reynolds and then 2 regular Deadpool writers of the comics that actually wrote it. And you can just see that knowledge of the characters and just having fun in this play, this sort of in the space that they have that they can just play around in and just cramming as much in as they can.
Oh, they definitely had fun with their little box of toys.
It's almost like, hear me out. It's almost like if you get people who know and love the character to make the film or to write it.
But get this, okay? I've got a counter theory for you.
All right.
What if we hired somebody who hates superheroes, but loves sex and violence, to direct a movie about the Big Blue Boy Scout?
I don't think that would go well. I think that would be a disaster. It might have a great soundtrack, but
I don't know. I think it would be more for the fans.
Fuck off. Why would you do that now? But yeah,
every chance I get.
But even if you look at Star Trek Beyond, you get someone like Simon Pegg, who's a comedy writer, a great writer, and a lifelong Trekkie. And you get someone like that to co-write your film, and somehow it's amazingly good. Like, how does this?
Oh my word! How does that work?
Whereas
even one of the biggest Star Trek fans that I know, who absolutely hated the first 2 in that trilogy. Well, they're going to be 4 of them now, but the first 2 in that franchise.
Quadrilogy.
Quadrilogy. Like, he hated the first 2. The third one, he still didn't like it, but he didn't hate it.
Amazing.
Which,
I mean,
Star Trek fans are like Star Wars fans on crack, so that's success.
So I think, it's like getting someone who has publicly stated that Batman v Superman is what you do when you run out of ideas to make Batman v Superman. Well, I think what would be a great idea is get the lead actress and the director of the Resident Evil films to make something like Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah, something that's very heavily focused on story and has a lot to draw from.
Yes, and I think also what you should do is maybe just add like a random conceit so you can make it like an American Everyman.
Oh, you mean like somehow pulling the monsters from that world into ours?
Yeah, instead of going to the cool place and like focusing on the cool thing, bring them here so that your movie's basically the last act of Jurassic World the Lost World Jurassic Park.
Oh, the strongest act of the film. Yeah.
Go like that ending of the Lost World Jurassic Park. Make that your whole movie, and just make sure you give it to the guy that made Resident Evil.
Yeah, no, then it should turn out perfectly. He's got a long history of making very good video game films.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great, especially for someone like you who's so invested in that universe. I think
Jared was definitely ecstatic when I told him about it. I didn't make any kind of comparisons to Uwe Boll
at all. I don't recall you doing that in the least. So yeah, I think
so. Back to Deadpool.
Deadpool 2. I think it was a winner. I like that they're not immediately jumping into a third one.
They're very hesitant about a third one. Actually,
that they're saying they'll rather have him part of the X-Force because Deadpool is just a really good addition to an ensemble. Yeah, like contrasting with the other characters, commenting on stuff.
I think they've done it twice now. They've proven their point.
Yeah.
To try and do it a third time, I think, is tempting fate.
And I think that overall, just with their restraint with the budget, now they're restrained about making a third one. I think, unless they come up with a super killer idea.
Yeah.
But he says,
he said it's difficult to come up with the idea for the motivation.
Yeah, because Deadpool, if you want to make a movie just about him, you kind of have to take everything away from him.
Like they did with this movie. The first thing they had to do was take away everything he got at the end of the last movie.
Yeah. And you can't just keep doing that.
No.
So I'm super keen for X-Force. I wonder if they'll bring in the girl from Logan somehow through time travel and magic.
X-23.
That would be good.
That would be that would be good. Well, they're already just messing around with timelines because Phoenix happens.
He went back and cleaned up the timeline.
Yeah. Also, Dark Phoenix is set in the 90s, but Dark Phoenix.
It's set in the 90s.
Yeah, they're doing that thing where they jump 10 years every time.
Oh, yes.
So, and we already saw like a young Cyclops in the background, not an older Cyclops. And we saw Quicksilver as he is in the past few movies. So we're not going to...
When is that due again, the new X?
Oh, it's been pushed and pushed. That's February next year now.
Okay, so we won't get a trailer anytime soon.
Maybe in the next like 2-3 months.
Yeah, I'm just curious, I guess. But like when I'm driving past a traffic accident, that kind of curiosity of like I kind of want to see. I know I shouldn't, but I kind of want to just
a little bit.
Just take a peek. Oh, I shouldn't have looked.
Oh my god! Oh no, it's all ruined now.
Yeah. I would see. Maybe they'll surprise us. I
always hope for the best. Even though sometimes I expect the worst, I always hope for the best.
And I think what
I never
really
go into a
makes
movie thinking, yes, I want to hate this.
What really makes me hope for the best more than anything else is the fact that Hans Zimmer's scoring it. And
that makes me more nervous than anything else.
Batman
don't scare him away again.
That's the
just
thing.
Come back.
Batman v Superman was so bad it literally scared him into retiring from superhero films. He was just so exhausted, as we could see in that video.
And now this to me is like Hans Zimmer's like a scared deer that's like been scared away by a terrible evil hunter man, and now X-Men Dark Phoenix is like the small kid that's got like seed and delicious things in its hands, and this little kid is luring the deer close, but there's always the chance that kid is going to be a fucking kid and ruin everything. Yeah.
Fucking slingshot to the face. And I mean, if it happens again, I doubt he'll come back.
No, he won't.
And Man of Steel is probably my favorite soundtrack of all time. So let him make more superhero
My two favorite
films.
soundtracks of all time are both Zimmer. Man of Steel and The Last Samurai.
I saw that come.
But yeah, no, like Tyler Bates did pretty good with Deadpool too.
Yeah, he did great. I think everything. That's another thing I want to mention is just how great the song selection was.
Oh yeah.
Flawless. Not just because they're doing the whole ironic, straight-faced ballad during this ridiculous scene or whatever. Just everything about it.
They got Celine Dion to do a whole song for them. It's beautiful.
And that music video is amazing if you haven't seen it.
It's amazing.
The Ashes?
Yeah.
I think just the songs, sort of the hip-hop songs and so on that hit, they hit super hard. They were mixed so aggressively. It just slammed the whole time. It felt so damn good. Those ballads were great. And then the actual score was just incredible.
Yeah, no, the music and the song choice for that movie was
freaking perfect. It was so
pretty
good.
much perfect tonally and everything.
Yeah, so top marks there. It even had the obligatory action movie post or the during the credits rap song about the movie.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yes.
So yeah,
it was great.
Deadpool 2. Highly recommended. Go watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely a go watch in the cinemas. This isn't a wait for.
Yeah, for sure. This is why we have cinemas. This is a spectacle. It's not heavy on plot.
Yeah.
What's there is nice. I like the sentiment. I like the theme of family.
And what's nice, because it isn't 3D. Obviously, it'll be better in IMAX, but it won't be detrimentally affected by. Regular
just
cinema.
Seeing in a normal cinema. If that's your jam, you're still gonna have a great time. Go watch it with friends.
Oh yeah, no, go watch it with friends, definitely.
Yeah, buy some. If you don't have friends, buy some other people tickets. Make them be your
just
friends.
buy 2 tickets and just post online and I've got a spare ticket to Deadpool.
Who'll be my friend? And then
Yeah.
Guilt the person into laughing along with you.
And then they'll have the memory of you and them laughing together like that.
They'll be like, I think I'm friends with this person.
Exactly. And then you'll get friends. But I think that's the thing to end on. Deadpool 2 will make you have friends.
Yes. Crabbies.